Wherever you're listening anywhere in the world, welcome to Beyond Borders. Our guest today is Dominic Proctor. Dom's with Outsourced Staff, a business process outsourcing organisation, BPO, in the Philippines. And Dom's joining us today from Sydney in Australia. Now, Dom, thank you very much for letting us sneak in and have a listen to some of your call centre staff. Let's just get 15 seconds and see what they sound like.
Hi there, my name is Jess and I'm an AI assistant for Digital Soul Technologies. I just want to let you know that the call may be recorded for quality assurance and at any time you can ask to be redirected to a human, but I'd like to help you in every way I can. Can I start by asking your name, maybe a little bit?
Dom, thanks for that opportunity to have a listen in, and welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir.
You're what they call a hybrid BPO. Now, that's hybrid in a bit different to the way that the word's commonly used. A lot of people talk about hybrid BPOs being BPOs that have work from home and work from office. Jess there sounds like one of the best Filipino agents I've ever heard in a call centre. Tell us a bit about her.
Yeah, so Jess is actually one of our AI agents. So about 2 years ago, we saw what was coming in the BPO industry. So we started investing heavily in the technology. And now what we offer to any new clients is a hybrid solution. So we do the traditional hybrid, so work from home or work in an office or do both. But now we also do the human and AI combination. So a client could come to us and say, hey, we're looking for 20 customer service reps or whatever the role might be. We'd say, great, we can provide you that. Would you like AI? Would you like human? Or would you like a combination of both? Because we know that not everyone is 100% AI friendly, but they're definitely open to exploring it. So yeah, it's been an interesting couple of years, but now we've produced our own AI CRM, which incidentally is QA'd by humans based in the Philippines and is managed by humans in the Philippines as well. So our take on AI is it's just a tool and we can still use our Filipino staff to actually work with that product or work with that service. But some of the industries that we're working in is the managed services space, so IT ticketing, real estate. We're doing a lot there. Debt collection, customer service, 24/7 answering. So there's a lot of interest and take up of the whole hybrid solution.
Now, Dom, I don't run a BPO. I work with a lot of BPOs, and we work with a lot of people who want to get involved with BPOs to try and make them a perfect match with the BPO they're with. Do you think having AI agents changes the way your BPO operates?
100%. Yeah, look, we see the writing on the wall in certain roles, what we decided 2 years ago was we've got to get into this. We've got to allow our clients to make their own decision based on having a really good piece of technology that can do probably 85 to 90% of what a human can, and then have the humans being able to take on those escalations. Or some people don't want to start full AI. They just want to have overflow. They just want to have that painful, 2 call a night shift filled and not pay, $3,000 a month. So there's overflow, there's weekends, there's scalability. So Jess can take by default 10 calls at once. I can't, as much as I try, get a human to do that. But we are very, very much pro Philippines. My wife is Filipino, my daughter is half Filo, so I genuinely care about the actual staff. So again, our process and our program is to retrain staff to then use the AI. And that's not just in customer service, that's our software developers, that's our accountants, that's our BAs. I am, officially AI mad, and I'm a geek from way back. So we're just looking at, okay, how do we upskill our staff in the fields so that they're not put out of work? Because I've seen it firsthand where, a whole department is taken over by, say, an AI copywriting tool. And then you're just left with 2 staff to actually run that. And if you don't train those people to see the tool as a good thing versus a threat, yeah, they may be out of a job, which is sad.
Yeah, and I think everyone listening knows about AI today.
Yes.
I think there is an age bias. I think younger people are more likely to be more comfortable with AI than old farts like me. But even I use my AI every day. It's my desktop companion. It does a whole lot of work. It also
Yep.
occasionally lies and hallucinates and gets it wrong. And when it gets it wrong very confidently. Do you have issues with Jess in getting it wrong?
Oh, to be honest, not that much because we put these guardrails around her. So each
Right.
agent is trained on a certain role that it can or can't fulfill. So just like when you have your human agent, they're trained. If someone asks you for your phone number or your address, then just politely tell them you can't give that. If someone asks for a username and password, you can't do that. So your core AI agent is trained to do something. And as you know, agent like GPT, other AIs, they do hallucinate. And that can happen on voice as well. So we can
Right.
only train a certain amount per AI. It's definitely getting better. Like every week, it gets better. But what we find is, we'll have one agent which could be an inbound caller, one agent which would be an outbound caller. We might have another agent which is doing SMS. Then we might have a QA agent, and this is cool. The QA agent is then listening to all of our human calls and our AI calls and offering feedback on how to improve them. So each agent is trained to do a different task. You've then got a reporting manager, an SEO manager. So, just like you would tap, I don't know, Sally in accounts for something, you tap your accounts agent, and then they're trained to be able to fulfill that request. It actually seriously blows my mind that we've got AI agents on our payroll. Um,
Well, I recently trusted them to drive me in a
oh,
driverless car. So,
there you go.
you have to have a bit of faith. But
Yeah.
I talked to some of my friends who are again in that older category, saying, "Oh, it'll be great when we have a driverless car. It'll be like having a chauffeur, and it'll be free." But I disabuse them of that notion. I don't believe robots are going to be free. I
No.
don't believe AI is going to be free. How does the
No.
pricing model work with your AI agent?
So, with regards to pricing, we have a setup fee depending upon the client and what integrations we have to do. So that could be anywhere from $1,000 to $100,000. It just depends on the complexity because it's really, customization.
Yep.
Then we have a platform and service fee, and that just depends on the volume that you're doing and what SLA the company wants. And then we have a cost per minute, and the cost per minute is anywhere from 30 to 45 cents. And that includes the AI itself, the telephony, the text to speech, the speech to text, and the voice. So there's a few different components that come in there. But the thing to note is that really where the companies will see the efficiencies is when they're unable to take calls. So, you might have a call center at the moment that's got 6 staff and they can't take 50% of the calls. So they're getting all these drop-offs. So then we put in an AI agent that can take 6 calls at once, and then they no longer get those, that 50% of people hanging up and going somewhere else or having a bad customer experience. But we generally promote to our clients to announce that it is an AI and we'd like to help you, and then just step them through and not try and replace everything or solve everything if we can't, but at least acknowledge the call, find out what they're interested in, handle those common questions or common requests like, I didn't get a copy of the invoice. I never saw that contract. Can you resend this statement to me? That's in the accounting area. So those type of things can be all done by the AI. Then we use an API. So say, example, we talk to Xero, we can then send the invoice out to that customer or SAP, whatever it might
Yep.
be. But yeah, so generally a setup cost, a monthly fee, and then a per minute cost.
And with your human agents, is that done on the same basis?
No, human agents are all based on a monthly fee. So it's a fixed
Right.
monthly fee. So for staff member X, he or she will cost you, 2,500 per month.
Right. Yep.
Um, yeah. And can only take one call at a time or do generally one thing at a time. So yeah, that's our pricing model.
Yeah, but I'm guessing the humans are much more fun at the end of your party.
Well, we'll wait and see, eh?
True, true. Dom, let's talk a little bit about outsourced staff for a minute.
Sure.
Um, where are you located in the Philippines?
So we've got three locations, one up your way in Pampanga, one in Metro Manila, and one down in Cebu. We do have a hybrid solution, so we can have office based or home based. If they're home based, obviously they have to have a good setup. We do an audit
Yep.
on all of that. I'm also an ex-IT guy, so internet security is very important to us. We work with every client to ensure that, if it is a work from home or an office-based staff, that whatever they do locally in Australia or New Zealand or the US for security, we do with their staff in the Philippines.
Right.
So we really don't, if you do it local, do it remote.
Yeah. Well, I think COVID was a global lesson in outsourcing. Um, COVID taught everyone in the world that you could work remotely, and
Yep.
there are some jobs that will never be outsourced. If you have to get your hands on um, the warm body, um, or if you're a plumber and you've got to get your hands on the leaky pipe or whatever it is, AI will probably assist you in your role, but it's never going to replace you in your role. And
Yeah.
outsourcing is never going to replace you in your role. But any job that's done by someone at a computer all day can be done on a computer in the Philippines as easily it can be done on a computer in the next suburb. If you're in the next suburb, you're a few milliseconds away. If you're in the Philippines, you might be 150 milliseconds away. And we're not talking seconds, we're talking milliseconds. So if
Mhm.
you can save 60 or 70% of your labor costs for 100 milliseconds, most businesses would think that's a pretty good deal.
Yeah, look, I've got to admit, since COVID, we've been steadily growing,
Yeah.
um, and I've been in the industry for about 10 years. I've had over 800 staff in that time. I started in tech because I used to run a software development business. So yeah, as mentioned, I'm a geek. I love technology, and our focus initially was, providing software developers, QAs, IT guys and girls, and then just through doing that for our clients, we expanded into the other roles, so customer service, admin, accounting. I don't know why, but we've fallen into a niche of, well, I do know why, but we've fallen into a niche of providing engineers, and estimators, architects, accountants, and yeah, so we started in tech and then we've expanded from there. I predominantly like working with companies based in Australia and New Zealand, or the US if they want us to not work night shift. But I do like we're not Accenture and we don't have 5,000 people on a call center. We like to know our clients and work with them. And yeah, look, Australia and New Zealand's good for us. It's good for the Filipino staff. And yeah, we do have a very low unemployment rate here.
And Dom, what's the smallest client you can deal with? Would you take the Wagga Wagga real estate agent who just wants to outsource one person who's doing property management?
Yep, we will. Our minimum is one person.
Yeah.
Our minimum term is 3 months. But yeah, look, we're definitely aimed at the small to medium enterprise. In a past business, I've worked with billion-dollar companies, and built teams of 300-400 staff. So I'm very familiar with that space. It just at times that does just become a numbers game, and
Yeah.
the clients are just a balance sheet item, and that's not really the way I live my life. If we can help some staff and we can help some Aussie businesses to be more profitable and stay afloat, then that's what we want to do, and provide staff that want to work. Obviously, you've been out of Australia for a while, but I know you'd understand that we do have a problem with our staff here, where we don't get the loyalty. We have the high costs, and Yeah, look, I'm pro Aussie, of course, but I'm also pro Philippines.
Well, the commonest problem we hear from Australian businesses is they just can't get the staff,
Yeah.
pretty much at any price. Um, and the commonest problem we hear when we talk to businesses about why they're not outsourcing, because to me it's such a compelling argument. It's like pretty much in every case, it's a better than 60% saving on labor costs. So why
Yeah.
would anyone not be doing that? And the most, I guess, the most surprising answer to me, but also the commonest answer we hear is we didn't know we were big enough to outsource. And that's why I asked you about doing the one seat deal, because
Mm.
I think a lot of those people who would really benefit from a one seat deal don't know that there's a whole industry in the Philippines that's absolutely geared up and ready to look after them.
Yeah, look, when it's a smaller client, we have an onboarding service that we offer, and that does two things. It helps prepare the client for being ready to outsource,
Yes.
especially the smaller ones that don't have a HR department, that don't have processes, that don't have
Yeah.
workflows. So we have an onboarding service that we can give to clients if they choose to take it on board, and that really helps to get better results. Like I literally got a message last week from a client who said, "I'm so glad I did this, Dom." She's just one staff member.
Yep.
I'm so glad I did this because I doubled my revenue this month because I wasn't doing all of that admin, and
Yep.
just like beautiful. Thank you. I love it.
Yeah. And
Um,
I spent a lot of time talking to prospective businesses who want to outsource, and once they get into it, they have a lot of questions, and if they put the time into it, they're much more likely to be successful and happy with their outsourcing than if they go into it with a whole lot of unknowns. Now, Dom, we do have to move on. I've been chatting here and enjoying my conversation immensely with you. For anyone who does want to reach out with you, your website's outsourcedstaff.com.au,
correct. Yep.
and I assume they can find you on there in a contact me, or there's an email address or something there.
Correct.
Um,
Yes.
what would be your parting message to those people who are listening to us? What would you most like them to take away from having heard you today?
Look, understand and clearly know what you want to outsource first. Don't just look at the savings and because you just won't, if you don't know what you're going to outsource, it won't work. And the other thing would be, don't go for the lowest price. Don't go for the highest price. Go for the person that you have the best feeling for. Because it's not always the highest person that we put forward is going to end up getting the job. But yeah, so know what you want to outsource and don't try and pay $2 an hour because it just won't work.
Yeah, look, I think that's very true. And there is a growing trend towards businesses around the world direct hiring workers in overseas countries.
Yep.
And if you're contemplating doing that, dear listener, please catch up with me and talk to me about it. There have been Fair Work Australia cases that are changing how this works. And even if you're in other countries and not involved with Australian legislation, there are pitfalls and bear traps in outsourcing that you need to know about and avoid them from the very beginning. But anyway, that's more about my business and not yours. Dom, it's been a pleasure talking with you. I appreciate your time today. And
Thank you.
I think we'll have to come back and chat to you again about AI sometime, because I think you're absolutely in the right place at the right time, and it's going to be something that all of us are going to have to learn a whole lot more about shortly.
Oh, totally. Yeah. Whenever you want to chat, I'm a talker.
Thank you for your time today, Dom.
Thank you, sir.